Thank you, Soraya. And thank you to everyone tuning in live inside the Goods Virtual World platform. My name is Rahdric Dix. I am the founder and CEO of the Goods Virtual World. And right now, I'm sitting inside the Raiders practice facility, home of the #1 pick in April's NFL draft, and the future home of Heisman-winning quarterback from the 2026 national champion Indiana University, Fernando Mendoza, to announce something brand new to the world. Not an update, not an improvement, a shift. Because the way humans are learning is no longer keeping up with the speed of the world. We are surrounded by information, but we are starving for understanding. We read more, we watch more, we scroll more. But when the moment arrives, when the pocket collapses, when the ground feels like it shakes under your feet, when the crowd roars and time compresses, you hesitate. And in that moment, there is a voice, a whisper, the critic, the interrupter. It says, "Wait, think, don't mess this up." And that voice is not you. It is biology. It is the prefrontal cortex trying to protect you, slowing you down, right when you need to move. And we have been studying this for over 100 years. In 1898, a psychologist named Norman Triplett found that athletes performed better when competing against others. Less hesitation, more instinct. In the 1920s, at Stanford University, researchers like Walter Miles and Coach Pop Warner measured reaction time off the snap, chasing the same question we are still asking today. How do we remove hesitation between stimulus and action? In 1925, Coleman Griffith built the first sports psychology lab, studying why errors persist, even when athletes know better. Then came flow. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, a state where action and awareness merge, no hesitation. Then choking under pressure. Roy Baumeister showed us that pressure pulls athletes out of automatic execution and back into thinking. Then paralysis by analysis. Sion Beilock proved that when you think about what should be automatic, performance collapses. We have spent 130 years studying hesitation, understanding it, measuring it, managing it, and yet it still shows up in the biggest moments because every solution still reacts after the interrupter speaks. It manages hesitation. It does not eliminate it. And here is why. John Sweller showed us, working memory can only hold 4 to 7 elements at once. That is the limit. The prefrontal cortex, the critic, is brilliant, but it is slow. 200 to 300 milliseconds. That is the gap. That is the interception, the missed shot, the late read. So if your system requires thinking, hesitation is inevitable. Now here is where it changes. Look at dancers. Look at figure skaters. A dancer who hesitates does not just miss a beat. They hit the floor. They do not survive on thinking. They survive on precision, on rhythm, on trust. They compress hundreds of movements into one action. This is motor chunking. They do not think the movement. They feel the rhythm. They lock their eyes on a single point. They ground their entire system with one visual anchor. They remove fear by training without consequence. Harnesses, controlled falls. They build trust through repetition so deep that doubt has no place to live. Control leaves the prefrontal cortex and moves into deeper systems, where execution is automatic. So ask yourself, why are dancers trained to trust instinct while athletes are trained to think? That is the gap. And that is where everything changes. We didn't build a better coach. We built a faster brain. This is NIRO. Not a playbook, not a system, a new state of performance. And here is how it works. Inside the Goods Virtual World, you don't study the game. You step into it. You hear the crowd crack like thunder. You feel the pocket collapse around you. You see defenders flash across your vision. And instead of being told what to do, you are trained to recognize 3 things: the moment, the advantage, the action, over and over again, in different environments, different speeds, different pressure levels, until recognition becomes automatic. NIRO uses AI to generate thousands of variations, from fewer than 40 core primitives, so no 2 reps feel the same, but the structure is always there. This creates contextual interference, where variation builds mastery. improving retention and transfer by over 20 to 30%. At the same time, the system tracks your reaction time, your decisions, your movement efficiency, and increases pressure until hesitation disappears. Then we test it. Noise, chaos, distraction. If you can execute while your mind is occupied, it is no longer thought. It is instinct. That is NIRO. It is motor chunking at scale. It is perception and action as one system. It is training the brain to operate at game speed, not practice speed. So instead of managing hesitation, we remove it at the source. And then something happens. The athlete changes. They stop asking, "What is the play?" and start seeing what is possible. The game slows down, not because time changed, because they did. This is NIRO, the missing link. Now here is what comes next. If you are an athlete, stop negotiating with the interrupter. Stop managing hesitation. Eliminate it. Demand systems that match the speed of the game, that protect your performance, your confidence, your longevity. Because when you process faster, you play faster, you react earlier, and you last longer. And if you are an investor, understand this. We have spent billions optimizing everything around the athlete, but not the athlete's processing itself. That gap is the opportunity. This is not a product. This is infrastructure. This is the future of performance. And the ones who see it early will not follow it. They will define it. And before we close, I want to thank the Las Vegas Raiders organization and owner Mark Davis, as well as the GOAT, Tom Brady, for being gracious virtual reality hosts for today's announcement, and for continuing to push the game forward by embracing innovation, technology, and the future of performance. You just got the goods from the goods.